Hello friends, thank you for joining. This is Ask Char Anything Hour. In this video, I will be answering questions such as, how are you? How much does a wedding in Europe cost? Top tips for being a good friend? Best coffee in the world? If you could travel anywhere, where would you go? What's the best phone camera out there? And many, many more. I'm happy to answer your questions. I'm stoked to be connected in this way during this strange time when we're still technically not able to hug. So let's start. Josh asked me what's the best camera phone out there. And I'm gonna give the long answer because he's really asking me, should I get a camera phone or should I get a professional camera? What do I need to be able to capture great photos? And the answer is complex. First, what I'll tell you is what's the best camera phone out there. I've been using the best camera phone for years. It's the iPhone. The latest iPhone is always going to top the charts on cameras. I have gone into depth on various YouTube reviews, on all the different camera phones, and to the very top goes the iPhone. Currently, it's the iPhone 12 Max. Pro Max, I think it's called. Josh wondered if the latest Samsung Galaxy was going to be any good. I would say yes, it's comparable, Josh. You want to get the latest of whatever that phone camera is, and you're going to be right up close to the iPhone, a close second, maybe a close third. Also, I will note that the Google Pixel phones have a really good camera system as well. So, my advice on if you're getting into photography as a hobby, there's no need to go out and buy a beefy camera like this. Go buy yourself a nicer smartphone. Upgrade your smartphone, play around with the camera provided on that smartphone, and see what you find. Even download a program like Lightroom. They give you a 30-day trial period. Download your photos from your phone and then mess around and have some fun. Now, if after that experience you really enjoyed taking photos, you had a blast, and you feel like, oh my gosh, I could probably do this 10 hours a week, then it's probably worth putting more money into at that point. But if you come away with that experience and realize, you know, this is fun, but I don't see myself doing it a whole lot, then keep your camera phone and enjoy taking photos for fun every now and then. Leave the professional grade work to us, to the professionals, because we want the business, we love serving people in that way, and we are experts. We do this for a living. So do not ask Uncle Joe to handle a camera like this and act like he knows what he's doing, because he just doesn't. So hire me, Char, to take your family, your wedding photos, your graduation photos, whatever it is. Hire the professionals to do fantastic work for you, and then have fun with your camera phone. That's my advice. Oliver asks, how much does it cost to have me come and shoot a wedding in Europe? And that all depends. It all depends on where in Europe and how much the plane tickets cost, and if COVID's gonna let me go over there. I don't have any of those immediate answers, but I will say, yes, I do travel to Europe, and I love serving people in other places, taking their photos and capturing them. Many of you asked me, how are you doing, Char? And I think the best way I can answer that question is by answering a more specific question given to me by my friend, Kyle. So here goes. What practices have you done personally to find peace, joy, and hope in the midst of this difficult season? I'm assuming he's saying COVID. I have found myself very thankful to have family that my wife and I have been able to stay with. It's been nice to be close to family during this strange time of uncertainty and unknowns. I would say I've used fitness. I've gone a lot of trail runs. I've done a lot of cycling. I even did, in the midst of all this, in September 2020, I did a trip to the Grand Canyon, did this crazy 50-mile run hike within 20 hours. So if you'd like to check that video out, I will link it below. in the description of the video, but it's a blast. I think you'd enjoy it. So I've done stuff like that to maintain my thankfulness, and in terms of my photography business, I pivoted into graduation photos, family photos, and smaller events as weddings did a lot of canceling and postponing in 2020. I'm starting to see this year in 2021, things are starting to ramp up. I've got weddings this summer. I've got weddings I'm starting to book in 2022. So I think people overall are getting more confident in the vaccines and are getting excited to get back out there and have celebrations. Overall, I feel very thankful that I still had business during the pandemic, that I was still able to meet people 6 feet away. I feel very thankful for that because there were many people that, whether it was small business restaurant owners that simply could not open their doors to people and could only do to go, and I just think of bars and places like that where you just couldn't make it happen. And so I empathize a lot with many people out there that struggled to make ends meet. Thankfulness was one of the keys to surviving 2020 and trying to emphasize peace in a time of uncertainty and fear was simply waking up and being thankful for the small things. I'm thankful for this cup of coffee. I'm thankful for these eggs and for a roof over my head. So that's the answer. That's the long answer, I guess, Kyle, to your question. What's the best coffee in the world? Austin and Jamie asked. I'm always going to sell my favorite coffee company hard, and it's Good Coffee in Portland. I'll put the website right here. Good Coffee. Tell your friends. There are a lot of great coffee shops that roast good coffee out there, and just so happens the one with the name Good Coffee ends up taking the cake for me. So that's my personal recommendation. Nathan asks, when in the last month have you felt most alive? Good morning. Sunrise. We live outside of Seattle on a little island called Whidbey Island, and we are able to go down to this beach below. It's just like a rocky beach, and I've been doing a lot of beach runs down there. In a lot of ways, it's like a total physical struggle because you're slipping the entire time as you're running along these rocks, but your heart rate's going high. Sometimes you're running against the wind, but this view that you're seeing is just absolutely stunning out there. And I'm thinking to myself, like, this is where I feel the most alive sometimes. In those moments when I'm running along the beach, I'm huffing and puffing, and I'm seeing this gorgeous view. Physically, I feel like, oh my gosh, I can't make it, but there's something about pushing your body beyond what you thought you could handle that makes you feel alive. David asks, if you could travel anywhere, where would you go and for how long? Well, back in 2017, 2018, my wife Julia and I spent 4 months in the beautiful country of New Zealand. We spent about 2 months on the North Island, 2 months on the South Island. It was amazing. So we went back in 2019, the end of December, and then 2020, February, we got back to the States right before COVID happened. And if I could go anywhere in the world, I might just keep going back to New Zealand because it's so freaking beautiful. We've got some amazing friends there, howdy Kiwis, and I don't know, it's a very special place. My friend Austin asks, top tips for being a good friend. Now, I'm humbled, I'm honored, because I would assume you would only ask that to a good friend. So Austin, love you, bro. Thanks for that question. I think for me, so much of relationships is simply giving a It's easy for us to focus on our own life and think that this is the life that matters the most, because that's what's going on in this world. We're all living our own little life that we have, and we're all thinking like, oh my gosh, everybody's thinking about me right now. Like, I need to be putting out some more content into the world. I need to be sharing what I'm up to with people. Reality is everybody's thinking the same thing themselves. So what you can do to care for people is simply ask them how they're doing. ask them what they're up to and what it is that makes them feel alive. It's in those conversations that I think true friendship is cemented and sparked, and you end up being intrigued by those answers as a friend, and it ends up making you want to care more for your other friends. So give a There are some people that asked some inappropriate questions that I can't answer in this video, and to those people I will simply say your name. Really appreciate your questions. I suppose this is a very long-winded video, and I'm thankful for those of you that have decided to hang out with me as long as you have on this thing. I appreciate staying connected in more creative ways, whether it's via email or via video or other things like this. It's a weird world out there right now, and I just hope that we can, connect. Feel free to FaceTime me at any given moment. I love picking up random FaceTime calls from friends, and I hope you are well wherever you are at. And I hope that you have a fantastic weekend. So, there. Bingo. Peace. And here we go. We're saying goodbye again. What do you think about the new camera? Pretty dope, right? Like, the fact that I can get this close and it stays focused, and then I go back and it's focusing on me. Like, what is happening? Whoa! Oh my God. Hope you gained some wisdom from that video. I think that's about it.